Okay, what I want to try to show you really quick while I work on dinner and get ready to go pick up my kids. So it's a Thursday night right now, and I want to just get this video posted for anybody who might be trying to do this over the weekend because I'm not going to get a chance again until Monday. So what I want to show you is a hack on how you bypass the print and cut size restraint on Cricut. So really quick, I'm just going to show you, first of all, what I'm talking about. So this is a print to cut image on Cricut. You have a size restraint of, I think it's 6 3/4 by 9 1/4. So as soon as you exceed that size restraint, which I'm doing right now, when I click this and then click these, if I go and attach them, I get this little error message right here. If you click it, it says image is too large, 6 3/4 by 9 1/4. So you have to be smaller than that. So the standard size paper is 8.5 by 11. The last thing you want to do is waste, what is that, almost 2 inches on either side of your sheet, especially if you're using something expensive like sublimation paper or the infusible ink paper. So a way that you can get around that, I am about to show you. We're going to do it over on Microsoft PowerPoint. Okay, there's a couple steps to this process, so bear with me. First and foremost, you need to set registration marks on your paper. So I talked about the fact that the standard size paper is 8.5 by 11. If you don't know how to format your sheet size on PowerPoint, I'm going to show you really quick. You go over here to Design, you go to Slide Size, Custom Slide Size. You're going to click it to Portrait, and you'll put 8.5 here, 11 here, and click OK. That's it. Now your sheet is 8.5 by 11. If it wasn't already, it's going to change to 8.5 by 11. If you happen to have any boxes on your screen like this, because you opened up a new PowerPoint, just go down here to blank, or you can click the boxes and delete them yourself. All right, so after you have an 8.5 by 11 sized sheet, you are going to insert registration marks. So insert, shapes, and you want a square. You're going to bring it over here, left click and pull down, and then over here you want to make it 0.25 by 0.25. Click. Alright, I'm going to change this to black. So you're going to tap the square, make it black, and then make sure that there's no outline. Once you have a black square, you want to Control C to copy and Control V to paste. Now we have two. On the first one, we want to go to Align, Left, and then Align, Top. That's marking the farthest, most upright position on the left side. We're going to grab this one, same thing. Shape, Format, Align, Align Top, Align Right. Then we want to paste another one. That was Control V for paste, Shape, Format to get this Align tab, and we want to align left and then align bottom. And one more time, Control V, paste that square that we already have, Shape, Format, Align, Align Right, and Align Bottom. Alright, now we have borders around the four corners, which is going to give us registration marks for our Cricut to read. Next thing we need to do is insert whatever it is that we want Cricut to cut out. Easy for me, I'm just going to pull in my logo. So I'm going to go to pictures. These is on my desktop. This is my logo right here. I'm going to grab it, insert, and I'm going to size it at, first I'm going to crop it a little bit on the left side because it's not quite centered. Okay, now I'm going to size it at, let's say, 2.5 high, and I'm going to have to drag it out just a hair to be 2.5 wide. All right, now let's talk about position. So you want to click, left click to highlight, and you want to move this up. Did you see that red line on the left? You got to be right there on the right side of those squares. And then at the top, you got to be under, not up there, down here, right there. That's as far left as you can go. Then you can Control C to copy that and Control V to paste it. And you want to drag it over here and do the same thing. We're hitting the red line across the top and the red line across the side. Right there. And then we'll have enough room, Control V, to throw one more over here in the center. Now, you have to, for this template, not for your print, okay, because we're going to have two things here. So for your template, you have to have a outline around what it is that you want to cut. So I have to add in a circle. If it was a square, or if your image already had an outline, then you would not have to do this step, okay? But if it didn't, then this is what you need to do. So I'm adding in a circle. The shape fill on my circle is going to be no fill, and then the outline is going to be black. Now I have a border around my image. It's good enough for me for this purpose. I'm going to copy that, Control C and Control V to paste it. I pasted the wrong one. All right, let's see. Control C, Control V. Okay, there's my circle. I'm going to drag my circle over here. You could have just done this at first and then copied the one that already had the circle, but I didn't. So coming across over here. I think it's worth mentioning at this point, if you were, for instance, making tags and you wanted to have Cricut cut out your shape and a hole for your tag, this is how you would do that. You would insert a shape, a circle, and once you get over here, you're going to drag it down just a hair, and you make it, I'm going to say 0.2 by 0.2. Okay, click that, make it black, and make it not have an outline. And then you can take that and drag it up here and position it. If you wanted it over to the side, that would be fine. We're going to do it in the middle just because. And then you can copy, Control C, Control V to paste it, drag it over, same thing. We could have done this just on the first one, but it did not pop in my brain. So, all right, so this top line is the goal, okay? Now that we have these three, we're going to fill up the rest of our sheet. The way that we're going to do that is we're going to come over to the far left and left click and hold the mouse down, and you want to drag it across those three things. Did not go all the way, so we're going to go a little bit higher, hold the left click down, and drag across. Now that highlighted everything that we wanted, hopefully. The way that we test that is we're going to go Control C and Control V. We're going to pull it down. And yes, we have everything that we wanted. We have our black border around the image and the dot in the center. If you didn't need a dot, you would just skip that step. Now that you have 6 here, same thing. Come over far left, hold down, highlight, click. Now you have, they're all highlighted, you can see from the outlines. Control C to copy them, Control V to paste them. You have to leave all of these things highlighted right here and then grab them with a left click in order to move them all at one time. And we need to stay above that registration line on the bottom and in between the registration lines on the sides. So that means we have to set these at least right here. Now this one's a little bit too low, so we're going to click this row, left, drag across, come down, and we're going to pull this row up just a hair. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that this top row is underneath the registration marks. It's hard to tell. Okay, I think it is. All right, this is what we are going to use for Cricut. This is the template that we're making for Cricut. Now that we have all of these things together, we want to highlight this whole sheet. So you come up over the left registration mark, left click, hold down, and drag it across and down through the whole sheet. It highlights everything. Then, with everything still highlighted, come over to any of these little circles that changes our pointer from a pointer to the diagonal arrow. Right click, and you want to do Save As Picture. You're going to save this. I'm going to say Logo Registration Template. And you have to save it as a PNG. I'm going to save it on my desktop. Save. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2 is to tap this slide, and while it has that orange box around it, you're going to hit Control D. That's going to duplicate it. Now, if you don't want these outside circles, you're just going to delete them now. You're going to click, delete, click, delete. You could leave them, but if for whatever reason, now it's really important here that you don't move anything. All you want to do is take off the outline. If I had thought about it before we saved it, I would have, or before we even added them, I would have created another slide without these. That way we didn't have to come back and delete them. But I can show you that at a different time. In theory, Cricut would be cutting these off. But just in case, if it's super important that you don't have any extra color, if you just delete them, then that would be better. I'm also going to delete these black dots. Like I said, in theory, Cricut would be cutting these out. But just in case, it's still going to put the hole there. It's just, you're not going to have a black circle there that are going to have any remnants in case something still shows. So we're going to delete all those. Okay, this image right here is what we're going to print. This gets printed. This is our template. So your template has to have every little thing that you want to happen. What you're going to print, as long as it's in the same format as your template, will be what gets cut out. Okay, that's the PowerPoint aspect. Now, I added in some pictures here to show you what you need to do next. You need to take your Cricut mat and place some type of painter's tape or masking tape around the left, top, bottom, and the right about in between the 8 and the 9. The reason that you're going to do that is because the next thing we're going to do is go into Cricut, and you're going to insert a shape. We're going to insert a rectangle, and we're going to make this rectangle the size of the paper that we're printing on. So we're doing 8.5 by 11. If you were doing a different size, put that size right here. Once your rectangle is set to size, you want to position it at the 0, 0. Now, what this is going to do is your next step is to load that mat into Cricut with your rectangle on the left-hand side. And then you're going to make it. I'm not hooked up to my thing right now, so you're just going to have to be good with my pictures. You're going to make that. It's going to cut it. And you'll see the rectangle marks here. So you go in with your weeder tool and you pull those out, and this is what you're left with. A mat that has a perfect 8.5 by 11 positioned on the 0, 0 axis cut out. And you're going to take your paper, and I apparently don't have a picture of this part, but you're going to line it up. This is after. Please don't get confused. You're going to take this paper and you're going to line it up on this side, registration marks facing up. I'm going to pause this really quick and grab my charger. Okay, doke. So your paper is loaded on the mat, and that's ready. This is your printed paper, okay? Once you print your paper that you have your template of up here, once you print this, you could print it before you do the mat part, which is why I showed you it first. And then you load your paper into here. And then now this is the third step. Now, over in Cricut, we have to take off this square, so we're going to highlight it and hit delete. Now we have to insert the template that we made in PowerPoint. So we're going to go to Upload, Upload Image, Browse, and find wherever you saved your template. We did Logo Registration Template. Open. Okay, right here, we need Simple. Click Simple. Then we're going to go to Continue. Now, this is where we're telling Cricut where to cut, okay? So we're going to come over here to the little wand and select it. And you want to erase all these outside barriers and the insides. We don't need to cut. Actually, I'm going to take that last part back. Okay, we're going to erase the outside barriers. The inside doesn't matter because we did simple, and so it should not be cutting on the inside. So we're going to take off our outsides. Sorry for that mix up a second ago. Here. Where is my zoom out? That is super close. There it is. Okay, we're going to do the same thing down here. Just clicking to be on the outside of that circle border. And then the other thing that we're going to do, and again, if you don't need a hole coming through, like if you're doing stickers or something like that, you obviously would not put that center dot in there. Okay, so now this is telling it that it's cutting 12 circles. Then we have to come over here and click the black dots. Now it knows, do you see how it went to the checkered background? So it's going to cut out the areas with the checkers, which is why I didn't go in and clear out the inside of the logo how I started, because that's not where I want it to cut. I only want it to cut on the outsides of the big circles and then these interior dots. So this is what our Cricut template is going to look like for print and cut. We're going to hit continue. Now, this is important. You don't want to save this over here. You just want to save this over here. Just save cut image, okay? Click it, save it. All right, we're in the home stretch. Now you're going to click that template, hit insert. This is super important. You have to change the size of this to be the size of your paper. So we're going to unlock this up here, and we're going to change this to 8.5 by 11. And then we need to position it at the 0, X, and the 0, Y. Now this will be exactly where we had our rectangle cut out. And then we'll go to, okay, so at this point you have your mat with your rectangle cut out. And you also have your full page print with your registration marks printed off and in hand. So you want to take this print, the paper print, and you want to set it inside this rectangle. And then you're going to come back to Cricut and you're going to say make it. I'm not set up to my machine, okay, so I can't finish this step right now. I'm supposed to be making spaghetti. When this is up here, it looks like that. You just want to hit continue, and then you would select your machine, select what you're cutting. It's super important to select the right material. If you're cutting just regular paper, do paper. I think it's 20-pound copy paper. If you're cutting poster paper, switch it to that. If you're cutting regular paper, you don't want to say that you're cutting poster paper because it will cut through your mat, all right? So that's it at this point. You're just going to select your paper, feed it into your Cricut with everything on the left-hand side, hit make, and you will end up with this, with the Cricut having cut out your 8.5 by 11 minus that 1/4 inch border on either side, more than 6 3/4 by 9 1/4, which was the goal. And congratulations, let go of the balloons, you did it. I hope this helped, and if it didn't, feel free to reach out, and I'll try to answer any questions that weren't clarified in the video.